Hey everybody, welcome to the Agroforestry Academy channel. I'm Felipe and today I'm going to take you through a pruning work, a management work we're going to do in one of our agroforestry systems. So let's take a look at it. So we've got this system which is pretty dense. We haven't worked on it for a while and you can see there's lots of pigeon pea. We've got lots of trees growing. There's some really big trees here. This is a vilão or amendoim bravo. You probably heard me talk about it a lot because it's one of the trees I use the most here for organic matter production. And then there's this one which is a species of senna. It's called Acácia do Sertão or São João. And we've got lots of young trees growing here. Now a row of trees. So this is ice cream beans. We've got mangoes. We've got this is cajá. Then we've got bananas, cashews, lots of things, and lots of prickly pear. We do lots of prickly pear here. This is a sugar apple over there. Jack beans. So it's just really dense, and I want to use it because this area is already, it's got lots of organic matter. It's got an improved soil. These bananas are out of place because they're not in my row of trees, so they end up clogging up the space too much, so I'm constantly pruning them. And then on this side, close to the vilão, which is this tree, this is also a row of trees. I've got some bananas here, and we didn't give them proper management for a while, so they're a bit too thin. You know, they're not going to produce so well, so I'm really going to take all of them down so that they can resprout, and then their pups are going to produce more than their mothers. So, you know, we've got lots of trees over here as well. We've got a cashew which is struggling to survive, but once we open up a bit of sunlight, it will go. Lots of lychees over here, planted by seed. So there's just a whole lot going on. And basically, we're gonna prune everything, open up sunlight, and then I'm gonna use this clearing that I'm going to open to plant some maize, some tomatoes, perhaps some cassava or something else. So let's get going. I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so we began the work here, and first we pruned all the big trees. You can see that big tree I showed you. Now it's completely pruned, and all the organic matter is down there. And now we've got almost enough sunlight to plant some maize and some tomatoes. Now we're gonna have to take all these banana plants down, and the plants are gonna love all this organic matter on the ground, on the soil. And you get a pretty nice view from up here. When you're up on the tree, it's just beautiful. You can see our other field, which looks pretty nice. You can see the cassava, the castor beans, and all the trees which have resprouted beautifully. So now once we finish organizing all this organic matter from the trees, we're going to take down the banana plants, prepare some small nests on the soil, and plant our corn. So yeah, let's get going. Basically this area's got rows of trees spaced at about 4 meters apart from one another. You've got one here, you can see the bananas. These banana plants in the middle, they're a bit out of place, so they're all going out. And then we've got another row of trees here. You can see there's this, this is called Castanha do Maranhão, and it's actually flowering for the first time. That's great. And there's some other trees in the front over there, and then we've got this row with the banana plants and everything. And we had this huge vilão, which is one of the trees I most use here for organic material production. You can see I did a very radical pruning in it. This tree has been pruned. I've been pruning it every 6 months for a couple of years now, and it's what's really feeding the soil. You can see the amount of organic material on the soil. And let's take a look underneath here. So there's a good 10 centimeters of organic material, which is pretty good. And what I did here is, first of all, I weeded the place, right? So I went in and I took out all the small grasses and herbs and weeds that were growing around, and then I proceeded to pruning all the trees. So the first one was this big one. It's important to always start pruning the tallest trees, and then you prune the shorter ones, because that makes sure that if by accident you break the branches of the smaller trees when you're pruning the big ones, you take that into consideration when you're pruning the smaller ones. Because what might happen is, for example, this is the Acácia do Sertão, right? It was pruned, but what happens is, if I had pruned this one before the vilão, the big one, and then now I was pruning the big one, some branches might fall off and break the very branches that I left on this plant, so I don't want to run that risk. And after this first pruning, I chopped all the material on the soil, and then I started preparing these small nests every meter. So basically what I did is I just took out the organic material and I put some manure. This is goat manure with ashes from our stove and some rock dust, and then I just prepared it with the help of a tool, and I only prepared a small 20 centimeters little nest. I don't want to mess up with the soil a lot. I don't want to do a lot of tilling. I just want to leave the soil as it is, because it's been receiving organic matter for so long that it's already well structured, and it would be a crime to actually mess too much with it. Let's take a look at the structure of the soil so that you can have an idea of what I'm saying. Okay, so you can see that it's got roots all over, and it's got this crumble-like structure, and this is what we want. You want to have this in your soil, and if I used my tools to till it, I would destroy all this structure and all these roots, which I've been working for a couple of years to achieve. So it would be just a bad idea to do it. So we want to allow the plant's roots and the microorganisms to improve the soil structure, and they do a much better work than we do with our tools. And then obviously I just prepared a small nest for the seeds that I'm going to plant, because I wanted to incorporate some fertilizers, and I need to prepare a bed, a small bed, so that I can put in the seeds, and they will have a good initial environment to grow in. And then I haven't planted the seeds yet. What I'm doing now is I'm taking down all the banana plants, which are the only plants that I haven't taken down yet, So we've got lots of bananas. These banana families, they weren't managed correctly, so we let too many pups grow, and now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 adult bananas, and that's definitely not good. We want to have 2 adult bananas maximum, with 2 younger banana plants and then 2 small pups. So you can see they got thin. These banana plants are not very healthy. They've got few leaves. They are very thin, and you can see that the production of it is not very good. This is a very, very small pack of bananas. I don't know if you can see it, probably because of the light. Let me try to get a better view. No. But anyway, these bananas, they produce as much as 40 kilos per plant, and that's obviously not what that banana is showing. But I'm using the banana stems. I'm sorry for the rough editing, but I'm having to record this video in parts because it's so hot that my mobile gives a warning that it's too hot, and then it just freezes, and I have to wait a couple of minutes for it to cool down. So now I came to a bit more of a shady spot. But what I was saying is that I'm using the banana stems as mulch for my nest. The nests I just showed you. There's one right here, right? This is where I'm going to plant maize, jack beans, pigeon peas, squash, and cassava, and a couple of other things. And then I'm using all the banana stems as protection here. The banana stems serve as a fertilizer, as irrigation, as everything. So it's one of my favorite materials to use as mulch, and that's why we plant it so much, and so that they can be pruned, and this material goes to our beds. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to show you this little work we're doing, and then I will keep you updated once we've got the plants growing. I'm probably planting them tomorrow. I'll show you the development. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you think this might be useful for somebody, please share it with them. Subscribe to our newsletter if you haven't yet. And let's always remember, keep it pruned.